Don't let the doomsters and naysayers trick you into talking down our country. The UK's as strong as ever. Yeah, if you believe that, you probably think Richard Nixon was an honest chap, don't you? A stand-up gentleman. If you believe that, you, like Diane Abbott, exist off a diet of Greg's sausage rolls, Tizer and Toblerones, convinced that those three items make up the entirety of the food pyramid. I think that's one of the daftest tweets I've ever had the misfortune to read, and I'm going to sum up exactly why it's total nonsense by shining a spotlight on England, Scotland and Wales, picking one main story from each and proving to you beyond any reasonable doubt that thanks to 25 years of neoliberal politics, the United Kingdom is basically a giant burning bin with a coastline. So stay tuned. Right then, this is total nonsense. Look at the image that they showed us. Britain is the second most powerful country in the world, and there's an image of an air force that hasn't got any petrol for the planes. King Sausage Fingers, who isn't fit to carry his mum's handbag, and probably couldn't fit his hideous digits through the straps anyway. An unelected, roundly despised midget prime minister, a film director, and a car. We all know about lies, damned lies, and statistics, but what is this based off? The second most powerful. As I've said many times before, the only thing that really matters when it comes down to the crunch is naked force. There are thousands of quips and philosophers and one-liners that have made this point eloquently, but suffice it to say that ultimately, if you don't get anywhere with diplomacy, everything ends in naked force. Politics is violence by other means, and at the end of the day, if you bring something to the table, you can skillfully negotiate, but if you've got nothing, you do as you're told. And Britain is a joke. It's not even in the top 10 most powerful countries in the world. There's no social cohesion, there's chaos on the streets, and as a result of this woke ideology that's took over the world, definitely took over the Western world and especially the UK, the single most important thing is social cohesion, the will to fight. If we got in a conflict, we lack the will to fight, because the people that would have fought for the military, people like me, now would not do so, because the people that have ran our nation into the ground are set dead against us. And just like in yesterday's video when I pointed out the ludicrous insanity of pandering to people that will always despise you, the people that the nation now seems to serve do not care about the British way of life. Rishi Sunak and Keir Starmer can pander to random groups of foreigners all they like, but their allegiance is not to the culture and civilization and way of life and institutions that your parents and grandparents cared about. So we lack the will to fight, which means this is all a joke. We wouldn't be able to win a conflict against Spain because our military completely lacks the will to fight. Nobody wants to join up. Nobody's willing to do their duty. So how is the UK a powerful country? We wouldn't be able to beat Uruguay in a conflict at this point. And it gets even worse when you go around the bazaars. It's rare I agree with Baron Greenback, that fat-toed Andrew Neil. But look at this tweet he's put out there with some of the statistics from the hate crime law that's been passed in Scotland. The insane, ill-conceived, ill-thought-out, unworkable law that they just passed north of the border, where, well, I'm glad Scotland exists, because if England and Wales are like the autistic Velcro shoes still struggling through words in a tin, if we're nations that are the personification of drooling, handicapped children, well, Scotland is basically just a bucket full of snot. So at least we've always got Scotland to look up to and say, we might be on the bottom rung, but thank God we are not subterranean. Looks like complaints lodged under Scotland's new hate crime law flooded in to overwhelm police at a rate of 1 every 90 seconds in the first 48 hours of implementation. Expected to top 4,000 in total today so far. Is Scotland really such a cesspit of hate? Or is the new law just a Clipes charter for pathetic keyboard warriors? First Minister hums a useless Pips J.K. Rowling in race to accumulate most complaints against an individual? Talk about being hoisted by your own petard. And SNP ministers appear on radio and TV to explain how the law works and then get it wrong. Police say no action to be taken against useless or rolling, but who is being logged for so-called non-crime hate incidents remains a mystery. Police accused of making it up as they go along. This is not just your run-of-the-mill SNP shambles. This is an SNP Labour Green Lib Dem shambles. The sort of cosy Scottish left consensus that eschews proper scrutiny of new laws and results in bad laws being introduced. Which anybody with the situational awareness of a goldfish in a hijab is aware of. Because the whole reason you have an oppositional parliament is because they have big, long arguments, both sides of every issue, and then you come to a sensible conclusion. That is reasonable. I might think of something, think it's a good idea, go to bulldoze it through, and then one of you sensible people will go, oh yeah, but you didn't think about this, Bootneck. And I'd go, oh yeah, I didn't think about that. Good idea. That doesn't happen anymore, because they're all in agreement. Everybody in the Scottish Parliament agrees with everybody all of the time. So some gibbering imbecile says, let's make everything illegal. And they all go, good idea. Good idea, boss. Lunacy. And then you get blokes like this guy, Cameron Archibald, apparently a sensible fellow. You can tell because he's wearing a suit in his thumbnail. Responding to this picture, protest against the Hate Crime Act outside Parliament, with literally hundreds of what appears to be normal, middle-aged and elderly people. And his response, this is such a funny protest. It's a massive gathering of freaks and losers. Yeah, all those old people, normal old women who shop at Marx's, bog standard grannies. They're freaks and losers, but a 6'5" geezer bird in a frock with forearms like Popeye, definitely not a freak. Hello, little girl, do you want me to show you how to stick a jam rag in? By God, it's as normal as the sun rising. And the hatred for them. Look at this one. Yes, I have no sympathy for these people. They shouldn't be in jail, but they should stick with the restraining orders. Restraining orders. Give everyone a restraining order. You know the old adage I tell you? If everyone's in charge, no one's in charge. If everyone's got a restraining order, nobody's got a restraining order. Because you can't make everybody stay in, can you? Although, Scotland had a good go at it during the pandemic, didn't they? And now let's take the piss out of Wales for a little bit. And this will be one of the rare occasions when I do so without mentioning man and animal love. Welsh Parliament banning GB News protects staff, says boss. Ellen Jones suspended the channel from the internal TV system after sexist comments made by Lawrence Fox. She said she wanted to prevent workers from witnessing offensive comments. Wales is brilliant, isn't it? Brilliant. Well, listen up, everyone. I want to protect you. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to wrap you in 2 sleeping bags, duct tape one over your head, lock you in my cellar, and just keep you down there forever, and I'll occasionally bring you, food and water. To protect you. Aren't I a nice person? Get in the cellar. These people are maniacs. Maniacs. Using overbearing legislation to protect your ears. Ooh, we can't have you hearing things you don't like. Lunatics. These are the type of people who, as I said, they watch things like Demolition Man or they read 1984 by Orwell and they go, this is fantastic, let's do this. There's no word for them other than overbearing sociopaths. If you really think that controlling every aspect of people's lives out of kindness makes you a good person, you're more terrifying than Mussolini, because at least Mussolini knew he was a bit of an arsehole. There's a great quote, much better than my comical quips about actual fascists, by C.S. Lewis. I'm sure you've heard it. Of all tyrannies, a tyranny sincerely exercised for the good of its victims may be the most oppressive. It would be better to live under robber barons than under omnipotent moral busybodies. The robber baron's cruelty may sometimes sleep. His cupidity may at some point be satiated. But those who torment us for our own good will torment us without end, for they do so with the approval of their own conscience. That is a fantastic quote because you know it to be true. Better to die a man than live on your knees. Who wants to live under the boot of authoritarian moral busybodies? Who? Only the most cringing of cowards wants to live that way. And I am including the vast majority of people here, even those on the left. I guarantee if you ask millions of people from so-called marginalised groups, they'll be like, yeah, you're all right. I can handle a bit of meanness every now and then. I don't need you to run every aspect of my life, you weirdo. And just so nobody thinks I'm going to get on my high horse, let's finish with England, who, realistically, has to be almost tied with Scotland for being at the bottom of the barrel. Because at the end of the day, that is not a new headline. And the people in England sat on their hands while tens of thousands of the most innocent people in society got groomed on an industrial scale and nobody did anything about it. So, if you think the UK is a nation to be proud of, I'm sorry to inform you that you are such an idiot. You are of absolutely no use to society whatsoever. You are as much use as Stephen Hawking's bicycle clips, and the fact that you even watch my channel offends me. That's how daft you are. So I'll end with a question. What are you going to do about it? If you tolerate this, your children will be next. And in the case of England, literally. Right? There's one of those rare occasions in this bloody day and age that a YouTuber uses the term literally correctly. All right? England is not a powerful country. The UK is not a powerful country. It's a joke country. It's an embarrassment. We all share in that shame. I'm going to start lying. When people ask me where I'm from over here, oh, where are you from? I'll be like, I'm Italian, Anything. Where are you from, mate? I am convicted sex offender from Deutschland. Whatever. Just pick somewhere else. Anyway, that concludes today's lecture. Thank you for watching. Let me know in the comments if you are hideously offended by my overt anti-nationalism, because at this point, I think mockery is all I've got left. What say you? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. Toodle pip. Cheers.